Housekeeping things. One, if you have your cell phone with you, we'd appreciate if you would silence your cell phone during the course of the meeting. Second thing is, if you wish to address the board, we'd appreciate if you'd fill out a citizens communication card, get it to the city clerk so she can get it to me to recognize you in the order in which I was given. And at this time, we'll have a roll call.
Assistant Mayor Harris.
Here.
Director Hollibush.
Here.
Director Brewer.
Here.
Director Jewell.
Here.
Director Smith is absent. Director Roberts.
Here.
Mayor Brown.
Here. At this time, we'll stand for our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance is tonight. It'll be given by our Director, Ulysses Brewer.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening. Ask that you continue to be with us, Heavenly Father. Give us a guidance and direction, Heavenly Father, and help us to lean not on our own understanding, but your understanding, Heavenly Father. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. At this time, we'll move right on into our citizens' communication time. First is Meredith Mills.
Mayor, directors, I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to note that what I am sharing is based on my own research. I've done my best to be accurate. I'm here because there was a email sent out to all councilmen and directors, and it was forwarded to me. Before I get into laws and numbers, I want to share a personal experience. I used to own Fat Jack's in Hot Springs, where the law required us to purchase all of our alcohol through wholesalers. We had to work with 3 different distributors just to get all the brands that we needed. Deliveries only came once a week. If we ran out of something on a busy weekend, we couldn't restock until the next truck came. It was expensive, inefficient, and frankly, a constant headache for both owners and staff. That is not the system we want here in Texarkana. The system we have today works for businesses, for consumers, and for the city itself. Since the repeal of prohibition, Arkansas has operated under the 3-tier system. Tier 1 is suppliers, distillers, brewers, vintners, importers. Tier 2 is wholesalers and distributors. Tier 3 is retailers, liquor stores, restaurants, and bars. Arkansas law specifically allows cities to adopt a private club permit system under Arkansas Code 3-9221 and 3-9222. These permits authorize private clubs to purchase alcohol directly from licensed liquor stores. Here's the important part. If the city council were to ever vote to take away the private club system, it would become illegal under the state law for any restaurant or bar to buy from a local liquor store. At that point, every business would be forced to buy only from wholesalers, no exceptions. That means no emergency runs to a local store when you run out of a product. It means being locked into a once-a-week delivery and juggling multiple distributors, just like I experienced in Hot Springs. Eliminating private club permits would cause serious harm to our local liquor stores, and not just one. These stores have invested in our community, created local jobs, and provided reliable service to restaurants and bars for years. Cutting them out in favor of wholesalers, large, centralized companies, would damage Texarkana's small economy. And let's be clear, this isn't just about the bars and restaurants. It's also about the tax revenue that flows back into this city from those liquor store purchases. Right now, Texarkana bars and restaurants already pay 10% state supplemental liquor tax, a 4% state mixed drink tax, a 5% city public club tax. In addition, there is a 6.5% sales tax, state sales tax, a 1.25% county sales tax, and a 2.5% city sales tax. That's almost 30% that we're taxed on each drink. To say this is double taxation is simply false. The truth is, Texarkana's current system ensures the city receives its fair share, especially through the 5% public club tax. And here's the critical point. When restaurants and bars purchase from local liquor stores, Texarkana collects both the 5% public club tax and its share of city sales tax. If this system is eliminated, Those tax dollars leave Texarkana. That is money our city cannot afford to lose, money that funds our streets, our police, and our basic city services. It's also been suggested that wholesalers are cheaper or tax-free. That's not the case. Wholesalers build excise taxes into their prices. They do not collect local sales tax at the point of purchase, so the city loses that revenue stream as well. By contrast, every purchase from a local liquor store generates city tax revenue at the register. That's money Texarkana depends on. Wholesale pricing is not always lower. Many times it's actually higher than liquor store pricing once fuel charges and delivery fees are added. And wholesalers only deliver once a week, leaving restaurants and bars stranded if they run out of product midweek. The current private club systems allows businesses to buy locally, restock quickly, and keep tax dollars right here in Texarkana. And let me be clear, Texarkana restaurants and bars are free to purchase from any licensed liquor store in town. No single store is being protected or given special treatment. Our businesses buy from the same legal sources available to every private club in Arkansas. And let me be clear, if this proposal went to a vote among all the bars and restaurants in Texarkana, Arkansas, it would be voted down overwhelmingly. And if necessary, I would personally organize those business owners and bring them here to this very chamber so you could hear directly from the people who would be most affected. We stand united in protecting a system that works for our city, our businesses, and our customers. In closing, I ask this council to consider the businesses that depend on this system, the consumers who expect variety, the tax revenue Texarkana would lose if liquor stores are cut out of the system, and the fact that dozens of other Arkansas cities operate under this same lawful model. The private club system is fair, effective, and proven. There is no good reason to dismantle it in favor of a wholesale-only model that would harm small businesses, reduce city revenue, and limit consumer choice. I respectfully ask you to reject this proposal if it ever comes before you, and keep Texarkana operating under the current private club licensing system. Thank you.
Meredith, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
In your opinion, has anybody ever just come into Fat Jack's and said, well, I'm not drinking here, the taxes are too high?
No.
Thank you.
Ms. Owens?
Mr. Mayor, Council, back again with another project. This is our third year for our cleanup, Texarkana, Arkansas, and always we want to include our city leaders to be a part. This is going to take place on September 6th this year, and we're hosting at the Mount Grove Baptist Church, which is where we originally started. We have one last meeting that will conclude before we have this. It's going to be on August the 26th. Of course, I brought you.
It's
your birthday?
Happy birthday.
29?
30.
29, 30?
30, that's my 30. But anyway, want to invite you guys to come and just have a good time with us. We're inviting the city, as usual, to participate with us in this cleanup. Last year, we had a great time. The year before, we had a great time. In fact, our first one was more participants than our second one, so we want to reverse that, and we want to get more participants. This year, we have asked the schools if they will allow those students that may have hours they need to make up or give to the community, and so we're just looking for people to care about Texarkana, Arkansas. Thank you.
Thank you. David?
I'm sorry for being such a pain at times, but sometimes you got to be who you are. Good evening, Mayor Brown, directors of our city, and thank you for your time today. I've got it written down so I wouldn't go off on crazy stories that y'all are used to. If this is such a bad idea to have someone be able to buy a drink at a restaurant, and I'm a little confused about the wholesale thing, because we have a wine and beer license, and we go to stores all the time and buy it when we run short. We can buy it from distributors or from the local stores. I'm a little confused where that's coming from. But if it's such a bad idea, why does Fayetteville, Arkansas approve this? Why does Rogers, Arkansas approve this? Why does Bentonville approve this? Why does Little Rock approve this? Why does Fort Smith approve this? Why does Mountain Home approve this? Why does Springdale approve this? Why did Conway approve this? Why did Hot Springs approve this? Why did El Dorado approve this? Why did Jonesboro approve this? Why did Camden approve this? Why did Arkadelphia approve this? Why did Miller County approve this? If this is such a bad idea, are they dumber than us, or what's going on? I'm here to talk about a motion that's been tabled for 2 years, one that I believe is critical for the economic future of Texarkana. Texarkana, Arkansas, I'm referring to the local approval of a state law that allows restaurants to apply for a license to sell liquor without being forced into a private club, an antiquated law from the 1950s. We all know the reality of our unique city. On one side of the street, you have Texarkana, Arkansas. On the other side is Texarkana, Texas. On the other, all the restaurants, this isn't just a friendly rivalry, it's a significant financial hurdle. They complain that they can go over there and buy this, and then they can't over here. Let me be direct. We are currently losing businesses to the Texas side. The only franchise we have that I can think of is El Chico's. Why? Do we not have an interstate right there? What's the difference? Let me be direct. We are currently losing business to Texas. When customers want to drink with their meal, they can simply drive across and avoid the high taxes and the bureaucracy hassles of our current club system. This isn't just about a single sale, it's about customers' entire dining experience and their choice to spend their money. We can do better here. The current problem in Hot Springs, they can't go across the line. They're at Hot Springs, that's where they are. Our existing law requires restaurants to operate as private clubs to sell alcohol. This process is unnecessarily complicated and costly. It requires more paperwork, more legal fees, and more time. For a small business owner, there are precious resources that can be spent on improving the menu, hiring staff, or enhancing their restaurant. The current system puts our restaurants at a disadvantage. Selection is limited to what is locally available. This makes it harder for them to compete. The solution. The approval of the law we're discussing today would change all that. It would streamline efficient process for restaurants to obtain an alcohol license. This isn't about giving away license away. It's about making the process fair and accessible. Passing this law would stimulate economic growth by making it easier and more affordable to get a license and encourage new restaurants to open and existing ones to expand on the Arkansas side. This means more jobs, more tax revenue, and more vibrant downtown. Leaving the playing field, even if it's just by a little, our restaurants will be able to compete directly with those in Texas. They can offer a similar experience without our customers having to cross lines. Texarkana, Arkansas has potential to be a thriving culinary destination, but we are holding ourselves back by an outdated law. We have an opportunity to show our businesses and our communities that we are committed to their success. Let's stop the tabling of this motion and start with building a stronger, more prosperous Texarkana, Arkansas. Thank you, and I will beg you to approve this state law at this local level.
Yes.
I got a question. I know you heard what the lady just spoke a few minutes ago. Just really, what's the difference? I heard what you stated, and from what I'm hearing what you stated, you saying that, just say a club down, just say we'll use Zapatos as an example, that I can go in there, if we pass that, and buy a drink, a beer with my dinner without them have to have certain type of license, a private club license. They can be able to sell a beer or wine.
Yes.
That's basically what you're saying.
They can buy beer and wine. You can have a beer and wine license by putting in the application, and they approve it within like a month.
Uh-huh.
The hard liquor is what we're talking about, actually. The hard liquor is where they were offering for us to be able to do the exact same thing, where you can buy a hard liquor, and I don't know where the wholesale thing's coming from, because right now we have a wine and beer license, and we can go buy it from whoever we want to buy it from. We can buy it from wholesalers or from local stores. The hard liquor is what this is about, where they require a private club license, as opposed to getting it done in a month. Like someone wants to open up a new business, you're talking 6 months to a year to get that done. That is holding us back.
And in the city that you named off, they already have this in place.
That's correct, and it's probably not a complete list, but that's the ones I was able to find quickly to be able to read to you tonight. Which, how many other cities, Pine Bluff is the only larger city, maybe West Memphis, that are left off this list. I'm
And-
sure there's a few more.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna move on. Let you move. I know you've been, could you email that, you already have that ordinance, what they using?
What that,
What are they using, what those cities that you named off? You have that ordinance or the law that they use?
not their ordinances, but where it says that they did approve it, and I'll give this to you.
Well, you can email them, because I just want to,
Okay.
I don't mind getting it, but email it to me, and I will email it to the city, secretary, and let she email it to the rest of the board.
This
Or
was
you
a
can do that.
This is a law from many, many years ago, and it's going to be passed at some point, whether you guys do it or the next group does. But it's going to happen because it just makes logical sense.
Hey, David, the 6-month to year application process that you're talking about, despite the ghost cost of lost sales, what's the expense on the business to do that?
Right now, people sell a nonprofit. The way they sold it back a long time ago when they made the law, they said you have to use a nonprofit, and they made it seem like nonprofits are going to make money off of it, but they don't really do it. So they have a nonprofit, and that nonprofit is I don't want to say scam here, but I'm going to say that it's a it's a front.
It's a fit into a loophole, I understand what you're saying.
It's a front for that to sell liquor, and that you have to. It costs about $10,000 to $12,000 to get lawyers to do all that process to make it happen,
Well,
as opposed to yes, sir.
I've got one question and one comment. If this was repealed, how many restaurants are going to come over from Texas because of the tax? Are they going to come flooding over here?
They're not going to come flooding over here, but they're not going to have hurdles that we have created to stop them from coming. Tell me why are all the franchise across the street?
Why is all the retail across the street?
What?
Well, this goes back decades. This isn't something that happened years ago. It was lack of vision decades ago.
Well, the
This isn't
retail's there
something that
because
just
of being
happened.
able to have a higher tax rate. on your little
This was
card.
the development of the I-30 corridor is what that was on their side.
So what are you saying, that you want to stay in the 1950s law that stops people from being able to?
I don't see a problem with the things the way we have it now.
Why did the state of Arkansas even come up with this?
That's the state of Arkansas. You need to ask
Exactly,
them.
and we're in that state.
But my comment that I want to make, when you send an email, don't make accusations in that email. Because,
I will because,
No.
because that's what people are telling us.
Let's end that right, let's just end it right there. David, your
And
time's up.
so I was
Terry, let's
directing
just
it
end it right there.
toward people that could do something about it.
Your time's up,
I
time's up.
got one comment.
Oh, okay.
One comment.
You done heard the gavel.
Comment.
You done heard the gavel,
Hey,
bro.
I just want to make sure that all of us, just want to make sure that everyone's clear. Now, all of us had the same viewpoint, because I get it. We 10.25% over here, we're 8.25% on the Texas, and all the rooftops is on the Texas side. And it goes even further deeper than that. Just make sure that not all of us share the same sentiment. So I see it in a different light as well. So thanks for your time, Dave.
I agree with you for being angry, because I get angry when
Yeah.
people accuse me of that.
your time is up.
I appreciate it.
Your time-
Appreciate you
David,
allowing me
yeah,
to
please
speak.
be seated. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board? Anyone else? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sean Taylor, 414 East Side Drive. My deals with Mr. Tyler Richards. He said he was gonna call me. I hadn't heard from him. It's been almost 2 months, and I ain't heard anything.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, we don't have any word from FEMA yet. They've given us an idea that we're going to get some money, but we've got no idea when. They were in town all last week, Roger, driving around with our streets foreman, looking at all these different places, but we still don't have any word yet on what they're actually going to fund. So I don't have any information to give you just yet.
You told me that I was in my area, my address was definitely in. I didn't have to do anything.
We applied for it. Correct. That's correct.
I need to give you my number, because I don't know how you can get a hold to me, because you don't have my number.
I do have your number, yes, sir. I've got it sitting on my desk on the citizens communication card that you gave us that last time.
I didn't give it. I don't remember giving it.
I've got it written down on my desk, but
244-7511, 903.
say it again?
903-244-7511.
Okay.
And I did have a comment that we still on the lights on the street. We still hadn't did anything about the lighting on that road on East Side Drive. And, you know, I don't know if you've been down through there, Elena, you're in my ward, but down right before you get to the curb down by Jamie's, by the fish market, it's just sinkhole. It's 2 sinkholes there. And they're not potholes, it's sinkholes. And they got, what they've done is put some of those barricade things in it, and it's so deep that you can't even see them. That big old tall barricade, it's down into the road. It's dangerous. If somebody,
That's on east side?
yeah, right there, when you come off the viaduct right there before you get to where that fish market was, on the right and left.
Right where the
Man,
big
I
culverts
swear,
go under the road?
It's probably 8 foot, 6 foot
Okay.
on both sides.
Mayor.
Yes.
That been going on for about 2 years, I
Yeah.
know, and they've
Yeah.
been turned in, and also your light issue, probably been going on maybe 3 at the most, and
Yeah.
that been turned in to the city manager. I haven't turned it in this year, I don't believe, but I have turned that in minutes, numerous times back in the darkness there, and I think he mentioned
Yeah, it's just
at the
nothing.
board meeting that he got notice from me, but I think he said he was waiting on something from SWEPCO.
Nothing's happening, and
We requested those lights from SWEPCO a couple of years ago. Yes, sir.
now, the lady on Orleans, a friend of mine, she asked for a light. She got it the next week, LED light. And you probably know what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
know you're talking about.
1 week, you know. And I didn't come here to be griping and complaining, but something needs to be done. Ain't nothing happening over there, nothing. I mean, not one thing. Just, I would be kind of pleased if one thing happened over there, but nothing's happened. on this FEMA thing, I know that's a process, but I'm waiting. And no light, 2 years. You remember when I came to you about it?
Yeah.
And the street, it'd be different if it was a pothole, but it's dangerous, man. I think somebody went in there. You can see, where the concrete is scratched, where somebody's wheel or something went in there. I don't know. It's on both sides of the road. But I'm just asking for some help if, some kind of way. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes.
I think I stated to Mr., the guy that was, two guys that was coming up, I was gonna show a video at the board meeting, and I'd have took it to the water company, and they have it, if they don't mind showing, both of the videos.
That's hilarious, though. I hope that the situation that happened with you, I do hope that they actually press charges. That's gonna be hilarious. Because, why would you do that? Why would you try so hard?
I'm sorry, what are we watching?
It was a video that, when they get to showing it, I'll explain why.
I'm personally, I'm on my own business right here. I wanna know.
And believe it was another.
I apologize for coming off the wrong way.
Okay, the reason why I was showing them two videos, because I know you say back in 2017, that's a long time, but, that was the reason why, saying that I supposed to have got into a fight with the citizen down at Rail Fest, and I was moved off of, the A&P Commission. And so, and that was the so-called, what I supposed to have, got into a fight with a citizen at Rail Fest. And so that's the reason why I was showing that video, to the public, showing it again. I know they probably showed many times, and I was just trying to show that, I know it's going to the two guys, that was coming up here asking for the board member to resign, and the board did not take no action. And the point what I was trying to make with that video, action was took at me just like that. Now, if you see the video, there's no way in the world I was the aggressor in that so-called altercation. You see my hand folded, and I was steadily telling the guy he was harassing me. And that's all I got to say over there.
Anyone else? Anyone else? If not, we'll move on into our consent agenda. Tonight, we have two items. Item number one is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of August the 4th. Item number two is to adopt a resolution approving the Texarkana County Airport Executive Director to auction off aged-out airport equipment. What would be the desire? Director Harris?
I want that one taken off.
Taken off. We're going to take off the resolution for the airport. So the consent agenda now consists of one item, that's approval of the minutes on August the 4th. What would be the desire of the board?
Motion for approval of minutes.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, motion carries. Director Harris?
Oh, yeah, I just got some question to ask. I'm glad that it's coming up before the board, that the board is considering something surplus before it get auctioned off. And that's what I see that's being done, and I'm glad that that's being done, because I tried to do that some years back, with an ordinance that the board need to consider something surplus before they go auction it off, or this and that. And I'm just like the idea that just making notice that the airport is bringing something before the board, and we establishing it as surplus before we get auctioned off. And that's basically what I'm saying. I don't have nothing against that. I'm just like to appreciate the idea that it was brought before the board, and the board established that it's a surplus equipment, then it's going through the auction. And that's all I wanted to say.
Well, I have a question. When will they be auctioned? How will they be auctioned?
So we're intending to use Nut Auction. It is the same auction house that the city utilizes. And then the intent is that any funds that come from that would go into our capital improvement fund for the replacement of future equipment to reduce any kind of ask that we'd have from
How
the
soon in
cities.
the future? Is that?
So this is the last approval, and so within the next 2 weeks, we'll arrange to have those items.
Any other questions? If not, I'd instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Texarkana Regional Airport has certain equipment that is aged out, and whereas the Texarkana Airport Executive Director requests the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas to authorize him to auction off the following equipment: 1999 Chevrolet Silverado 2500, 2008 GMC C1500, 1990 John Deere 2955 2x4 tractor, 2001 Angus Palm 830-2 street sweeper, 16-foot utility trailer, double axle, Lincoln Electric arc welder AC 225, Frontier box grader, auger with 3 bits for tractor, 5-foot bush hog, John Deere 720 front end loader, and various obsolete radios and parts. And whereas the funds collected from the auction will be allocated to a line item in the capital budget for equipment replacement. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the airport director is hereby authorized to auction the above stated equipment and allocate any funds collected in the capital budget for equipment replacement. Passed and approved this 18th day of August 2025.
City attorney's read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt. Second.
Let's have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Could you call the roll?
Assistant Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes, and the resolution passes. Moving on into our regular agenda, our first item is tabled on August the 4th to adopt a resolution directing the city manager to forgive all eligible demolition liens up to $10,000. Director Harris.
I guess if y'all have the resolution, what I was just trying to do is, just, if the city manager can release the lien, notify the resident that the lien could be released and released, not going through a whole lot of, what you call politics or bureaucrat. That's basically, and that's what my objective is, so.
I received tonight, Jenny gave us, I guess you gave what the amendments were that, at the last meeting, you stated that we changed it, so you put back in, and I see the difference is you're requesting the Miller County Tax Collector to release demolition liens, and the other one is a notice and agreement from the property owners, and the original invoice said notice and response. So, I mean, you want something in writing that they're gonna bill back or something like that, or
Just
a verbal agreement?
They just not knows that they gonna bill back, just a knows that they received the acknowledgement that they can get a lien off their property. They got a knowledge and they gonna, because I don't see a lot of people going billing no for what's at the house now, costing $80,000, maybe $90,000. I don't see that. But I can see the people being able to take care of the property. I don't think we're gonna have a whole lot of people coming and lining up and asking, but they may not even know that they can get a lien taken off their property. And so, and that's basically what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that's saying it, that if a lien can be taken off, the city manager would notify the property owner that lien can be moved from their property and they.
The way the original resolution worked in my mind is if we were contacted by someone that discovered we had the lien
Right.
and they had the condition of rebuilding, wanting to rebuild or build something on that particular lot, then he had the authority to release that lien up to $10,000.
Well,
This resolution would blanket, just take care of all the liens we've put on and release all of them, correct?
Yes, if possible.
Yeah. Oh, I think it would be possible, but my personal opinion is I think that's unnecessary, and you still have a small opportunity to collect one of those at some point in time. And I wouldn't want the tax collector or anyone else to have to go in there and release all those liens just to release them, just because somebody might not know about it.
Do we know what the potential revenue loss is if we were to approve it?
Well, it's nothing because we don't get nothing. We don't collect.
I know that it happens very, it's minimal.
We
I'm
have,
up one time in 7 years I've been mayor.
Okay, that answers my question, what it is.
So, explain to me the current law, the current situation we're in right now. What is the procedure right now? Before
so
we,
if a property owner comes to me with a lien on the property, they'll sign an agreement to construct back on that property within, say, 18 months or 2 years or something like that. And we will forgive the lien based on that agreement to build back on the property. Or if say if you already own a property, you want to purchase the property next door that's got a lien on it, just to incorporate with your property, we'd be happy with them just maintaining that property. But, I mean, the goal is to get something developed back on it.
up to $10,000.
Up to $10,000, yes, sir.
But that person has to make contact with you.
Correct.
City Hall. It's not automatic. For what
Correct.
Director Harris is proposing, it's, nobody needs to ask anything, just any demolition lien.
What happens is in the process of the people, in this particular case, the people that were purchasing that property found out on the back end, because when you go to a title company, that lien shows up in the title search.
Right.
And so they call, and those liens, that particular lien is not a front-end lien. It's a lien, but it's not like the mowing lien. A mowing lien is a front-end lien off your property taxes. So if you get billed $250 from us for mowing, and you go down and pay your property taxes, you have to pay that first, and they won't let you pay your property taxes. And these liens, they're liens just like a lien from the credit union. You didn't pay us, and we brought suit against you. It's on that piece of property. And most of them, for practical purposes, are under 10. This just depends on how big the demo job was, but I'm gonna say average is $5,000-6,000 maybe.
Yeah.
$5,000-6,000
4 or
bucks,
5.
and that lien's on there. So when they're doing that title search, they tell the person that's buying it, hey, the city's got a lien on this for demo. And then they contacted him, and he asked us, that particular case, to release that lien with an agreement from them to build back. And then that's how the resolution came about, to allow him to do that without coming to us, so that it might not take 2 months to get on the agenda to release it.
So as it's written, the lien is discovered, it's brought to Tyler, Tyler assesses it, and then Tyler has the authority to release the lien up to $10,000 without board approval, correct?
Correct.
That is currently the way it exists.
That's correct.
And the procedure of voting tonight is
To
to
release all of
to
it.
release all
All
of
of the
them.
liens that we have placed on the Miller County tax record right now, this resolution would release, hold on just a minute, Cody. It would release all of those liens, and they would never show up again. We're giving the tax collector authority to go and release them, so when someone was to come up and try to buy that property, that lien would be forgiven. It wouldn't show up anymore.
And the ordinance tonight doesn't have any stipulation stating that something has to be rebuilt on that property, correct?
Yes, it does.
To be clear, there are two versions of the ordinance. I think they put one in that Assistant Mayor Harris has, and then I did one.
Oh, well, we doing that, Mayor.
Well,
We doing that again?
we are doing that again, because at the bottom of every resolution, it says approved, and then my signature.
Okay.
And I could not approve that. Now, I will say, if it's a blanket forgiveness under $10,000 with written notice and an agreement to maintain the property or build back, mine does that. I didn't change any substance,
Tyler,
but you can read it for yourself.
Tyler, in your tenure,
I
how many
have,
liens, how many lien removals have you
Yes.
denied?
But Director Harris has the floor.
And I think I could be wrong. I'm thinking these liens are at the front end of the property. I don't think.
No, sir, they're not.
They not?
No, sir.
They not at the front end?
No, sir.
They're on
Not
the
demo
property.
liens.
They on the property, they not, you ain't got to pay the lien before you, pay
Yes.
taxes off, okay?
I've done one.
One denial.
What about what about when they get notice that their property is unsafe, all these notices that we send out? What about action between that time and before their property is demoed? how much action do you have with that?
You asking me?
No, are you asking that we have many that intercede
I'm
before we
just,
demo it?
I say that because from at least a legal standpoint, why would they do anything if their lien's gonna be forgiven anyway when they get the demo notice? Demo, I get a free demo.
Right.
There's nothing in.
Hey, then you wanna buy my property? I don't have a lien on it.
There's nothing in place
It's
to
not, it's
hold
not
them
only
accountable.
after the money is on the
City.
county clerk
Right.
as a lien, but that time, you know, that they get a certified
You know,
mail
that's
receipt.
an excellent point, and you probably just earned your monthly pay for at least 1 month. Yeah, that is a great point. I've not even thought about that, because it would be a way to pick up a free demo, because you wouldn't have a lien you forgive.
Not necessary. If you're using CBG, you can't do it.
Well, you can't do it anyway,
If
and
you-
we've not had any, have we ever had any recovered, Tyler, from any CBD, grants that we can't forgive? Have we ever had any that have paid them?
We have, yes, sir.
Okay.
But we're not talking about community development block grant money.
No.
We're talking about city fund money. And one key factor is, I'm saying this, only one has been forgiven at all this time. And I just feel that it just hindering, prosperity and promoting growth of land use.
So-
That's the reason why I put it.
So to be even more confusing, which resolution, we were handed Director Harris's resolution tonight before the meeting, it's not the one that's in the packet. So which one are we,
You have both. You have
I have both,
Director Harris and.
but we just got Director Harris's tonight. It was not in the board packet Thursday.
We didn't receive it until noon today.
Okay, so which one are we voting on?
Is it our
And
choice?
the city
the only
attorney
one-
says you can't approve Director Harris's, so we're basically, would be voting on the other that says, forgive all liens, period. That's what yours basically says.
That's what it says. That's not CBG money, and they received written notice, and they have an agreement to maintain or build back on.
So
the property.
basically, the same thing Director Harris wants to accomplish. It's not,
I'm not saying CBG. You can't do it anyway.
he just says in there you cannot. It says in the bottom of that ordinance, you cannot forgive CDBG.
That's correct.
Yeah,
It's
it's
still-
in his too.
That's what I'm bringing to you. You can't do community development.
It says you can.
Right.
Well, I have a question on one that's got notation. Josh, what is resolution number 2025-27?
It was passed,
37 or whatever.
it was passed a few months
Last
ago.
year, yeah.
What's the gist of it? What's this say?
It says that essentially any lien under $10,000, let me read it to you. Thank you. Passed the 7th day of April of this year. The city manager requests authorization of the Texarkana Board of Directors to forgive eligible demolition liens under $10,000. Liens are eligible to be forgiven contingent upon an agreement to maintain the property or build back on the property. So the difference is, this one tonight is a blanket forgiveness, and
The other
the
one gives the
other
city
one gives the city
manager
manager
authority if we're asked.
authority to
Has-
determine that.
Any other discussion? So if you support the resolution tonight, you're supporting the forgiveness of all liens going forward under $10,000, basically.
Without any
Except block
contingencies.
grant,
Yes.
Without any contingencies.
without.
Without
There's,
taking any look at any of the situation,
No.
it's specific.
Any-
anything.
Any other
Yeah,
discussion?
but-
Cody, yes, sir. Sorry.
I could be speaking out of turn here. Would that affect tax sales? I know you only do like one,
Uh-uh.
but that wouldn't change anything on that?
No.
So if I went to a tax sale and they had a lien on it, say this one, would it be forgiven or would I need to talk to Tyler?
You would have to ask for that lien to be forgiven.
Yeah.
That's basically how we got in the situation we were in. Wasn't that one sold at TAC? Or no, it was a neighbor. Wasn't it? I don't remember.
originally it was sold at tax sale,
Yeah.
and then he couldn't do anything with it, with the lien. He sold it to somebody else.
So it's on. So if you
This-
support the resolution tonight, we would be forgiving all liens up to $10,000, even the current ones that are on the books now.
They still have to
Without
sign
any
an agreement.
contingency to rebuild or maintain?
It's in the, yes,
The
that is in
ordinance
the
that I have
ordinance,
still
but
has that. It still requires an agreement
Yeah,
to
paragraph
build
4.
back or maintain.
You're just forgiving all of them. You're not gonna be putting liens on any of them, basically under 10 grand.
But the one that you have here tonight, right in front of us, paragraph 4, there is contingent. That's what I'm seeing right here, right?
Yes. It describes the eligibility.
Yeah.
With this one, if we blanket forgive every lien, then there really is no requirement to maintain or build back, even though it's in here.
No, it's blanket if they meet these
Criteria.
contingencies.
Gotcha.
So they would still need to come in and request it or do some kind of paperwork.
Well, what are the contingencies?
It's in paragraph 4.
Build back
That they,
or
Build back?
maintain.
Will maintain the property or build back on the property.
I'm good with that part.
Any other discussion? Yes. So which resolution is it gonna read, Director Harris, do you know?
He's the boss over there. He's.
We're gonna read the resolution that, you approved of, that,
need to
He's the
table
one, he said that he's the city attorney, and he said he cannot read one unless it's approved by him.
No, I didn't say I couldn't read it,
Well,
but I
let-
could not submit it as
Let-
approved.
let- Before we get in research, I got one more question. What's the negative, Director Harris, for just maintaining the status quo? Just,
Well,
Just
for one,
quote-
it doesn't give a notice to the people that a lien could be removed.
nobody knows it.
Nobody knows
You just
about
have
it.
to ask about it.
They may
If you didn't
know
attend
about
this
it
meeting,
with
you
all
wouldn't know
this
about it.
back and forth on it and seeing this, on social media, but right now, half the people don't even know that they can do this, you know? And that's one thing I see, positive out of this.
is that a bad thing?
What? No, I said that they don't even know that a lien could be released on their property. No, I had some people stop me at the store, and they was asking me, can a lien be released from their property? And I said, yes, but you got to come down here and do this and that. They said they didn't even know. Well, that's the reason why in the one I had, it said a notice. And then how's you gonna be able to find out something if you don't get a notice? This could be resolved if he just sent out a notice to the property owner and just say, hey, a lien could be released, here go a notice, and just mail a letter to all the property owner. We don't even have to do this.
Director Harris, if that's what you're wanting, I have never understood that, and I'm more than happy to send a notice to every single one of the properties that we have a lien on to let them know that it could be forgiven.
Yeah, if you just do that, this ain't, cause you're making a big deal out of nothing from what I'm seeing. You know, we going back.
Okay, so we could vote this down.
Well, you can do whatever
And he
you wanna do.
sent out
with it.
his notice, we'd be okay, correct?
You can do that, but you see, and that's the issue you get when I wrote this and said written notice and respond to and from the property owner will be given. See, now that was written and this is the one I submitted. And that's what I was trying to do. But he already said he would do that, so I'll just go ahead and just move, just withdraw this and let him do that, and we go on to the next item. Because we really getting into stuff that's really ain't, you know.
It's
I'm
on the
gonna say,
agenda,
let's
we have
vote
to
it
vote.
down. Let's just say, let's vote it down. We instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Which one you reading?
I'll read yours.
No. It don't matter to me.
The
It doesn't
purpose-
matter. I'm not trying to figure out, trying to do something just to get something read. I'm doing something trying to get a point across. I'm trying to make that clear.
Okay.
And he already said that he would just notify the property owner, and this could be dealt with there.
He's directed me to read the resolution.
Okay.
Whereas the purpose of this resolution is to promote growth and prosperity of land use, and whereas the city manager has authority from the board of directors to forgive eligible demolition liens under $10,000, and whereas the passing of this resolution, the board of directors is hereby directing the city manager to request the Miller County Tax Collector to release demolition liens other than where community developed block grant CDBG funds were used, and whereas liens are eligible to be forgiven contingent upon written notice and response to/from the property owners, then the property owners will maintain the property or build back on the property. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, the city manager is authorized to forgive demolition liens under $10,000 that meet the above referenced contingencies, pass and approve this 18th day of August, 2025.
City attorney's read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board?
Motion for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Could you call the roll, please?
Assistant Mayor Harris,
I thought maybe we were just gonna die for lack of support. That's what I was hoping, but I ain't gonna sit down up here and say yes, but I know it's.
He said yes.
Director Hollebush,
No.
Director Brewer,
No.
Director Jewell,
No.
Director Smith,
No.
Director Roberts,
No.
Mayor Brown,
No, the resolution does not pass. Moving on to our last item on the agenda is item number 4, is to adopt an ordinance to call a special election for the purpose of submitting to the electors of the city of Texarkana, Arkansas, the questions of issuing bonds and levying and pledging a tax of 5 mills to refund the city's capital improvement and refunding limited tax general obligation bonds dated September the 1st, 2012 for street improvements and for drainage improvements, providing procedures for the election, prescribing other matters relating to thereto for the purpose and declaring emergency. Tyler.
Thank you, Mayor. All of you are well aware of this by now, but I'll run through it real quick so that the public has an explanation on what you're going to be voting on. So this is for you to approve to go to a vote of the citizens to issue bonds to repair streets and a small amount of drainage as well. Well, I shouldn't say a small amount of drainage, I'm sorry. It's small compared to the amount we're spending on the streets, but the drainage work is extensive as well. So these bonds will levy a 5 mil tax on the property taxes. Now, it's important to note that the citizens are already paying 2.5 mils of that. So the difference in their tax bill after this would just be an increase of 2.5 mils, not the 5 mils. So they're going to see 3 different questions on the ballot, and this will be on November 18th. It'll be a special election. The first question is to refund the 2012 bonds, and that is the current 2.5 mils that they are paying. Question 2 is for the street improvement bonds, which will levy the full 5 mils. And then the third question is for the drainage improvements, which will also come from the 5 mils. Now, I explained this to you in our workshop last week, but I wanted to make it clear once more. The amount that we're refunding on the bonds that they're currently paying on is $2,375,000. The amount that's on the ballot for the street improvement bonds, $41,925,000, and the amount on the drainage bonds, $5,350,000. I wanted to be clear that that is not how much we are collecting on these bonds currently. We will get about, after the refunding of the original bonds, we'll get about $25 million to put towards streets and drainage. We're estimating about $3 million on drainage, so that'll leave $22 million roughly for streets. The reason for these inflated numbers is, say, 10 years down the road, our assessments continue to grow. That 5 mils is worth a certain amount today. In 10 years, those assessments continue to grow. It'll be worth a larger amount at that time, and it'll give us some flexibility to, if we decide to issue additional bonds on those 5 mils without raising any more taxes, we can do that. But we can always get less than what's in the ballot amount, but we can't go more than that. So that's the reason for the inflated amount on the ballot. So we're going to plan a very thorough marketing campaign with multiple public meetings spread throughout the city within each ward so that this is fully transparent. The citizens are well aware of what exactly this money is going to be spent on. We are working on project lists, so before, which I told y'all last week, I believe we can have that within this next month, and as soon as we get those project lists together, we'll bring them to you. But the citizens will be able to see those project lists, so they'll know exactly what projects are getting done with this money. So if you have any questions for me, and our bond counsel, Jim Fowler, and Jason Stevens is here with, Jason Holzclaw is here with Stevens. If you have any questions for them, I'm sure they'd be happy to answer as well.
I just think it's important still to point out that the first ballot initiative would be the refunding of those current bonds. If that fails to pass, then the street bond will not pass.
Correct.
The initial refunding of the initial bonds to give us that 2.5 to put with the 2.5 we're asking. In addition, it would be the 5 mils. So if the ballot initiative 1 of the refunding does not pass, then the bond issue would not pass. And all we're really doing tonight, as was discussed in that workshop, is all we're saying tonight is that if we approve of this ordinance, we are proceeding with an election to meet the election deadlines and the reporting and publication deadlines that are required to the number of days that are required. As we move forward, it's my understanding that once these projects are approved in however manner that we approve of where this money's actually going to be done, that in itself would be in an ordinance stating that's what the intent of the city is to do with that money.
Yes, sir.
And that is coming, and then that, we would have that in September prior to going to town hall meetings and things of that nature to explain this. That's correct?
Correct.
And on a $200,000, Jim, on a $200,000 house, or Jason, on a $200,000 house, it's about $80. $80 more a tax year, so it's $40
Yes.
for every $100,000.
Yes,
That's
thank
what
you.
the
I meant
2.5
to
mils
say that. Thank you.
2.5 mils would raise property taxes.
Which you stated wouldn't even take effect until fall assessment of what?
It would be
26?
2020, October of 27.
27.
Before
Because you're
before the
a year behind in your property taxes, so it would be October of 27 before any of the citizens would see the increase.
Yeah.
I got a question. What would be that number for each household if we did go another route and ask for 160 million or 200 million, a true number that we really need?
I can't get that.
Yeah,
I know.
No, that's
I understand that we can't go over 5 mils, that we have to tap into our legislators to go over 5 mils, and because, the state authority, I totally understand that. But I'm looking at cost savings in the future for our citizens that's, constantly with the ball joints, the rack and pinions, and all that, or what have you. I was just asking what would be that general number, if we, we ask for what we really need, like 160, 200, or whatever. So if we have to go to
It would be 4 times what the 100 million would be, 4 times what we're getting. So that'd be $400. And then if you got 200 million, so it'd be 800, so $1,000 more a year probably.
But I just want to ask that question because
Again-
citizens will pay for what they want, especially when it comes about, the average person are driving $40,000, $60,000 vehicles and these potholes constantly eating out with their environment or what have you.
The $80, that's on 5 meals, is that right?
on a $200,000 assessment.
That's on 5 meals.
Yes, sir.
It's 5 meals. But their citizens are currently paying 2.5. That's four.
Jason, that's on the
Additional
2.5
they're paying. That's the
increase,
2.5.
correct? Yeah, that's not on the 5 mils, that's on the 2.5 increase above
It's
what
just
they're
on the
paying now.
2.5 increase.
Okay.
You're gonna pay $80 more. You're already paying 2.5, so you're gonna pay $80 more bucks on 200 grand, and that's the additional 2.5.
It's $40 for every $100,000 assessed.
Gotcha.
That's what the citizens' tax bill is going to increase.
All right, but we're currently paying 2.5.
Correct.
Okay, so is that not $40?
Yes, on $100,000. Yes,
What
sir.
I'm gonna pay this year's, $40.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay.
Next year, you're going to pay an additional $40 on top of
That's
that.
For every
So-
100.
Next
Yes.
year, 27.
Wait, it's in effect for the
I understand.
26 tax year. Yeah, it's not due until 27.
But it's only going, the next few years, it's, instead of 80, it's only going up $40, is it not? Not 80?
Well, it's $40 for every 100. We were using 80 for $200 value, $200,000 value.
Yeah, so the average assessed property in Texarkana, Arkansas is, I believe, 167,000 roughly.
Right.
And I think that number on the average house, it was going to increase like $65, I believe. Does that sound right, Jason? Roughly, yeah. That's on the average assessed property in Texarkana, Arkansas.
In 2027, you will be paying $40 more for every $100,000 of assessed value in October of 2027.
And I'm still confused. When's the current bond payoff?
It's going to pay
28.
off when we issue these bonds.
Well, forget it, if we don't issue any bonds, we don't pay it off. When's it- when-
2027?
Oh, 27?
2027, wasn't it, Jason?
February 1, 28 is what we're.
February of 28.
Say, so until then, we would be paying on let's keep it even, on $200,000. What we be paying on 2.5%, on a 200,000,
$20 per mil.
$20, $45
$45.
versus 90.
That's correct. Well, I mean, that's the 2.5.
Two.
So the thing you have to be mindful of, though, is, and we'll put these numbers together for you, is that everybody's tax situation, as you know, is going to be unique. So
Sure.
we can show kind of what that would look like in its entirety. In the presentation materials I provided to you last time we were together, if you remember, I had take the total millage rate of all of the different entities and showed that there in that table. I believe it was like on page 3 or 4 of the presentation. But what we're taking is, again, if you looked at it for $20 on $100,000 is what we would look at times 5. So that'd be kind of the total amount, if you would, going forward.
But what am I thinking, right now, let's say my house, let's say it's $200,000. I'm paying, that would be $95 a year?
90.
90?
90-ish, correct.
Okay, so we go to 5, it's gonna be 180, right?
Correct.
So,
190.
Yeah, because of the
It's
5.
going to double.
yeah, well, I thought somebody said 90. Okay, so, all right, I can visualize that now, but my point is, I'm already paying a part of that.
That's correct.
So that's what I'm trying to get in my head, and I hope that the citizens out there can too, that they're already paying half of what the increase is going to be. So it's 2.5 mils, we're talking 5, but really, it's only a 2.5 mil increase above what we're currently paying.
Yes, sir, that's correct. Yeah. And what we can provide on your behalf is we'll put together some examples of what that would be so people can see very clearly what that would mean for them in terms of the increase.
Of course, got to realize, 2027, then the 2.5 would drop off, which would benefit us, reduce our taxes some, but,
Sure.
So I think the other way to explain it, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 2.5 increase gets us the 27 million.
Yes.
So the first initiative, the first proposal to vote on is to be allowed to take that 2.5 and add it to the 2.5 that we're voting on. If you couldn't borrow 25 million.
Right.
You can't retire that debt, and you don't have the debt service to pay for it. So
It's just
you're retiring it, you're refinancing a car and buying a bigger.
Refinancing is the best way to explain it. You're taking something that would be paid off and extending it. They're already currently paying and putting 2.5 more on top.
It's just kind of difficult to explain to constituents.
Sure.
Be because of that.
Any other discussion? Director Harris?
Yes, and I guess I was going to ask you a question. What do you think the total amount would be of the 27 million? How many do you think we're going to pay in interest?
Interest rates now are somewhere between 4 to 5%. There's indications that the Federal Reserve could cut rates at the September meeting, which might put us more closer to the 4% marker. When we did a transaction earlier this year for the utility, if you remember, we were just north of 4%. So the numbers you've seen today, though, have been very conservative, closer to the 5% mark, just for planning purposes. So I think we'll be somewhere between the 4 to 5% range, but obviously we're a few months away. Voters have to, and then we move forward in the spring of next year, so a lot can happen between then. But I think that's kind of in the range.
And Mayor, really, before I started talking, I didn't notice last time I was talking during the workshop, a point of order was asked, and then the question was asked. Then from my understanding, what a point of order means that the person who is talking have did or said something that's out of line, and then when you ask for a point of order, it's up to the chair to make a ruling as to whether the person who was interrupted talking, was he out of line? If I'm wrong, right or wrong on that?
I do recall that, but I don't even remember who the conversation was.
I was talking, and then a point of order was requested.
So what do we want to do now?
He said that
Well,
he was
I'm,
trying to continue.
and I'm just trying to figure out what was the point of order that I was out of line for the ask. See, and then what
I
it is.
didn't have a point of order. You're talking about the other director that
The
wanted?
director asked.
So you need to know what he was talking about, why he requested a point of order. Terry, why did you request a point of order?
Because it was going on and on and on and on.
Okay, and then the point I'm finna make is this is, until we get something in line telling us when we can, a timeline as to what we can say or not say, as to a timeline on debate, because I'm finna start my debate again. So, and so he may ask for a point of order, but we doesn't have in our Robert Rules of Order to limit the debate as to how many minutes. Until we
Well, let's
do
go,
that.
let's get started.
I'm just saying.
Let's get
so-
started.
so that-
Let's get
Okay,
started.
and so, and I just want to let the public aware of that.
Huh?
Yeah.
We might need to
Not
put
debating
that on.
anything.
Well, I'm trying to say, when you do discussion, now, you may want to eventually add that you can limit the board members talking to 3 minutes, 5 minutes on the issue, then you can do that, but until we get that in writing, then technically a point of order.
Well, right now, we're wasting
I
time,
know
so
that.
let's
So,
get after it.
but what I'm trying to say to the public is that during this process for the ballot issue, I have requested an agenda item that it be placed on the agenda that the money that we requested get split equal amongst the wards. That was denied by I didn't get a second from our rules of order that we have in place, which I'll say is mostly put in place for this board member, because it was put in place back in June or July 2017, you know. And so, and what is that saying? That if a board member try to put something on the agenda, if he does not get a second, it dies at the hands of the city manager. And I don't think that a city manager should have more power than an elected official. That's my first thing, because I think we are elected official, and I think y'all have enough keen sense. If something come before y'all will vote it down one way or another. I don't think that putting a ballot issue before the citizen as to let them determine as to how much money that's spent in each ward. And the reason why I'm saying that, in my Ward 2, I got about 5 sections of town, and I'm basically saying the same thing. I got part of Quality Hill, that's on the east side, that's on the, going north, that's on the east side of Hickory Street. I got downtown, I got College Hill, and I got what they call the dump area, that's between the, down there by Preston Street, but it really started from the railroad track back to 9th Street. So I got basically 5 areas that I'm trying to sit up here and get money for streets. And now, there's been, since I've been here, this, a street study has been done, which is the 3rd street study being done, you know. And the 2nd street study is done, which I'm not saying that the streets should not been done out there in the outskirts of the city. I'm not saying that. But I don't see the fairness when you only concentrate on one area since you was the public works director and then you became the city manager. And so, and basically what I'm trying to say is that, again, I'm not saying that the streets need done, but look at the fairness of this, because I got streets in Ward 2 that need to be done. You know, and I named off.
Can I just make one point?
Okay.
I just want to make one point. We have not seen any studies or anything about where those streets and what the street study says and what's going to take place right now. So we haven't, this is premature.
Okay.
Because
But-
we haven't seen that yet. Have you've seen the street study?
No, I haven't.
Beyond
He emailed it to everybody.
that, additionally, you state that it was turned down by the city manager. We had a workshop and your request didn't receive a second. You state that it needs to be decided by elected officials. The other 6 of us up here didn't second the request.
Yes, okay.
I'm
Proceed.
getting-
It's your floor. It's your floor.
I apologize.
I just wanted to make that
I'm
point
not-
that we've not
you
seen
the
it.
chair. The chair can interrupt the speaker at all
Thank you.
times. I ain't gonna deny.
Please refrain from speaking. till
I
the-
apologize.
The
Director
chair can
Harris.
interrupt the speaker at all times, so, anytime. And so, and basically what I'm trying to say is that we'd have had that street study that was done there, and it requires all the streets to be done there. It didn't, and the criteria gonna change, I'm quite sure it's gonna change, because the narrative gonna change for you to do streets now. I think he's using, now you can go ahead and ask a piece, CPI, you gonna include that. And I don't know what's that gonna include now. But what I'm just trying to say is that every street study has been done since I've been here. It's not fair to the poor community. That's basically what I'm saying, make a long story short. The last one wasn't done, and this one right here, I haven't saw it, I already know it's not gonna be fair to the poor community. Look at when you did the study for as the creeks and stuff, you know. And I know I'm gonna hear what's it gonna be said, where we had to fix the banks up north of town before we came down south of the area. And now Mr. Sean been coming here many times talking about the creeks and stuff over there where he at, and when those areas gonna get fixed. Then Jones Creek was not put in the study, and it's just as bad as I don't know what. So make a long story short is that I think for to be fair, when it come down to spending money, I do think that ballot issue should have been put on them before the citizens, where they can also decide where that money should be spent, or, you know, being equal among the 5 or 6 wards. And I know the mayor, you may state they use the mayor too, but then you could have got together with another board member and say this and say that, hey, I don't think downtown's not gonna get their fair share of money based on who living downtown and based on what's downtown. But I'm just saying that I do not see it. I have not saw it in the past where the poor neighborhood gonna get its fair share. And I know this is before the elected officials, elected people, and the people are gonna decide by passing this bond issue. And the last time I did vote for the bond issue, I even went campaigning, me and Ward 1 board member, we went out campaigning. I think we had a thing over there at College Hill Middle School at the time, and we were campaigning hard and all this and that. But now, I just don't see it. And it's based on the past action. I didn't see fairness the past 5 years from our public works director / city manager, and I don't think they're gonna be fair in the future. So, and I think I need to say that.
Anything else? Does anybody have any other questions before we instruct the city attorney to read the ordinance in its title form for the first reading? Hearing none, I'd instruct the city attorney to read the ordinance in title form for its first reading.
An ordinance to call a special election for the purpose of submitting to the electors of the city of Texarkana, Arkansas, the questions of issuing bonds and levying and pledging a tax of 5 mills to refund the city's capital improvement and refunding limited tax general obligation bonds dated September 1, 2012 for street improvements and for drainage improvements, for providing procedures for the election, prescribing other matters related thereto, and for other purposes, and declaring an emergency.
Ordinance has been read on its first reading. What would be desired to have it read on its second reading?
Second reading of abbreviated
form, please.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Could you call the row?
Assistant Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollowish,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
An ordinance to call a special election for the purpose of submitting to the electors of the city of Texarkana, Arkansas, the questions of issuing bonds and levying and pledging a tax of 5 mills to refund the city's capital improvement and refunding limited tax general obligation bonds dated September 1, 2012 for street improvements and for drainage improvements, providing procedures for the election, prescribing other matters relating thereto, for other purposes, and declaring an emergency.
Ordinance has been read on its second reading. What would be the desire to have it read on its third and final reading?
Third reading of abbreviated form.
Second.
Let's have a motion and a second for third reading. Any other discussion? Could you call the row?
Assistant Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollowish,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
An ordinance to call a special election for the purpose of submitting to the electors of the city of Texarkana, Arkansas, the questions of issuing bonds and levying and pledging a tax of 5 mills to refund the city's capital improvement and refunding limited tax general obligation bonds dated September 1, 2012 for street improvements and for drainage improvements, providing procedures for the election, prescribing other matters relating thereto for other purposes, and declaring an emergency.
Ordinance has been read on its third and final reading. What would be the motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. Prior to the board voting to adopt this particular ordinance, is there anyone here wishing to speak for or against? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Brenda Bursey, just a point of clarification. If the citizens pass this bond, who is the individuals who are responsible for deciding where the money goes?
We will be.
The board?
The board will be, and that will be, the plan is to, when we start having town hall meetings, those lists of streets, if it's the desire of the board to use the street study to take the money that's available, every citizen will know what streets we're doing and what drainage and creeks we're taking care of. So there'll be a certain money going to drainage, and I'm assuming that that will be spent in Nix Creek and Jones Creek. And then there would be some other drainage areas that could be in there from requests of Public Works that might need to be done. And then the streets, it was the consensus at the workshop that we look at the street study that we have and take the critical streets at the top of that list and get down as far as we can. And those are the streets that we would release to the public that we would be doing.
Okay.
That will transfer into an ordinance that this board will pass and abide by, which means the money can't be spent on anything but what it's in that ordinance, and we tell you we're going to spend it on.
Oh, so the citizens will be made aware of the projects that they will be
Yes,
worked
ma'am,
on?
and that should be available, we're hoping, by the second meeting in September.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes,
And Miss Burson, and what I was trying to do, that each ward get $3.3 million, and we meet, and then I go out, or we meet with each, our ward, with our constituent, then we decide what street to get done instead of using that, so-called street study.
Okay.
And that was my objective, so,
I-
it still is my objective.
All right, thank you.
any other questions? We have a motion and a second to adopt, could you call the roll?
Assistant Mayor Harris,
No.
Director Hollowish,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes, and the ordinance is adopted. We need to pass an emergency clause for this to proceed. What would be the desire of the board to attach an emergency clause?
Motion for emergency clause.
Second.
Let's have a motion and a second to attach emergency clause. Any other discussion? Could you call the roll?
Assistant Mayor Harris,
No.
Director Hollowish,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes, and the emergency clause is attached. That's all the business that we have on our regular agenda outside of board commentary. Is there any board member that wishes to address the board? Director Harris.
We're gonna make this quick. I got a question about the use of Roundup by the city. I noticed it been spraying on people's property, and, what authority do the city have to spray Roundup or some type of grass kill on people's property? Because I noticed I saw on the internet something about people getting lymphoma or something like that from Roundup and stuff. And so I just want to know, how is the city able to use Roundup? And I also see it spraying near creeks and all that, because if you don't go down there between Seaver Street and Washington and Pinehurst Street, Roundup was sprayed down there back in April or something by the creek. Now, I guess it have been cut neck. Now the grass is about 8 foot tall. Look like it enhancing the growth for some reason instead of once it wears off. So I just trying to figure out what's the issue, well, how and why, and what's the city reason, rationality of using some type of, I can't say it's Roundup because I don't actually see what chemical that they're using, but they is using some type of weed chemical sports spraying on property. I just want to know what it is and what operation you have to spray it on private property. I may see you can do it on city property, but so that's the question I'm asking. He ain't got the answer now, because I know he can get back with me if he don't feel, if he don't want to answer it now.
I'll get back with him.
Okay. Anyone else?
I got a question. Just, our pothole guy showed up, the one from Waco or whatever?
Yes,
How's
sir.
that going?
It's going great. He's been here for 3 weeks now. He's making a lot of progress. I'm not sure, I need to get with Public Works tomorrow to determine if we're going to continue. We're going to assess, once we reached 30,000, we were going to assess how much they got done, if it was worth the additional amount to continue. So I need to check with them tomorrow, see how far we've gotten and if we can continue or not. But it's going extremely well.
So you have any idea about how much the city they've covered, or how much the city is,
Any project highlights?
any?
So
half the city,
I believe,
taken care of? or still?
they started, I believe, south of 35th Street. I believe they've gotten everything 18th to 35th State Line to Jefferson. Does that sound right, Roger? Or 12th, between 12th and 35th State Line and Jefferson. Yeah. Yeah, we had them hit a couple of emergencies first thing, and then they started going down every street.
So we still got quite a few to.
Oh, yeah, there's still plenty out there to get, no doubt about that. We just need to assess how much they've gotten done for what we've spent to see if we can continue.
Hey, Tyler, I've seen several of them repaired, and I can see the difference. I know where those guys has been, because they're on 18th Street, which is, it's not in my ward anymore, but I still go through there. I can see the difference. I can really see the difference.
Good.
And I got one other question. Last board meeting, I was requesting an executive session to discuss the A&P, so we're just going to maybe do that the next board?
No, sir, we still have an executive session planned.
It's on the agenda, we're doing that next.
Okay, all right, I don't see it on here. All right.
Anything else? anything else, I'll remind everyone that our next meeting will be on Tuesday. Labor Day is on Monday, the 1st. So our next board meeting will be Tuesday, September the 2nd. And at this time, we would excuse all guests. We have a brief executive session to consider an appointment to the A&P Commission.